Today, I want you to do a little dreaming with me. Hi, I'm Sarah from sewingmastery.com, and I am dreaming about which sewing cabinets I'm going to pick for a brand new filming studio. Whether you have a sewing room that you absolutely love or one that you wish you had a little time to start over and do a complete makeover. The sewing machine cabinet companies have so many options that you should do a little dreaming with me. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you which sewing cabinets I picked and why. Just like furniture in our house, there are tons of options. And if you've gone furniture shopping lately, it's sometimes overwhelming. You don't even know where to start. Sometimes that's why we have people come into our homes and help us either decorate, change the layout, or update some outdated items to some more modern current pieces that will look a little bit better. If going into your sewing room is a little daunting, whether there's too much stuff, too many tables you've kind of pieced together over the years to make it work, why don't you take some time and look at some of the awesome options that are now available. If you have sewing machine stores in your area that have sewing furniture to go and look at, start there because you can sit down, imagine what it will look like in your sewing room, and see if it's the right height, the right color. And I'm going to give you some ideas of just a few shopping checklist items you should be aware of before you even start. I've had the opportunity of working with tons of different tables over the years, and I too have my own personal preferences, and I need a few extra things just because of how I do filming or when I sit where the camera has to be. It's kind of a little extra than just designing a great sewing space. I know some of you don't even have a sewing room to even start with. Maybe it's a small corner in an area, or even something as simple as maybe a side closet that you've taken the doors off of, and that is your sewing space. No matter what you're working with, there is a solution for everybody's needs. We'll put links below to some of our favorite cabinet companies, and there are cabinet companies that actually have cabinets that can ship to you if you don't have something in your area where you can just buy from that local store. We understand that stores are closing and it's getting fewer and far between for some of you spread out all over the world in some very remote places. Let's start dreaming together. I'm going to give you just a few highlights of some things to keep in mind. Number one, cabinets come in lots of different colors. My personal preference is white. It brightens up my area, and if I drop a pin on it, I can find it. It's easy to clean, and I know when things are tidy and put away, and the white brightens up my sewing room no matter where I am sitting to sew. The white is always a great choice, but there are plenty of color choices for you to pick from. So find what you love and start there. Your sewing machine is going to determine which size of sewing cabinet you'll be able to buy. If you have one of the larger sewing and embroidery machines, you're going to need a table that is, number one, sturdy enough to support it, and number two, a big enough opening for the machine to actually sit in and down into. If you're thinking about buying a new sewing machine in the next year or so, you might want to wait on your cabinet purchase until you buy your machine. That way you know it's going to fit. Next, I'm going to talk to some of you who are a little on the taller side and a little bit on the shorter side. You know who you are. You're going to need to pick a cabinet that would be suited for how tall you are. You will also find, though, cabinet companies these days have some of the electronic lifts in them that physically lift or lower the cabinet based on your particular height. And give you a hint, I picked a sewing cabinet that has this feature. Sometimes I like to sit to sew, and sometimes I need to stand to embroider. And I wanted to have the opportunity to do both without having to move my machine around. Next, think about where you'll actually be sewing. Do you need those cabinet doors to completely close up? Or do you have a room all to yourself where those doors are not important and you're never closing them anyway? So if those doors don't need to be closed to hide, to kind of contain, you'll have options for some extra cabinets that are just open on the front because you're never going to need to close them. If you like working on quilts or projects that get larger as you go, there are back extensions that flip up behind a sewing cabinet. Some cabinets have those options and some do not. Another one that I do like is when the extension table can be placed to the left of the sewing machine to help support places like when I'm putting binding on a quilt or just kind of working on something large and bulky. That extra support is really nice, meaning you don't have to bring another table around to set up when that project is nearing its end. It's just right there. It's always there. You can leave it set up for that support all the time or take it down when you don't need it. For me, a cutting table is my life source, meaning I don't have sore shoulders when I'm cutting. If you have a table that you've kind of made do with over the years, maybe it's a little wiggly because you bought a basic one and you know you're always cutting, it's time to upgrade to a more sturdy cutting table. For me, I wanted a little extra storage in my cutting table choice, so you'll see that shortly which one I picked. Here is the sewing cabinet I've been working with over the last couple years. I loved it. It is a sit-down cabinet. It had extra storage and it had a place for the serger off to the side, but I wanted a little bit more room for my serger when I'm actually using it. So I actually picked out, for the first time ever, my very own dedicated serger sewing cabinet. And because everything's on wheels, I can move these cabinets around as I wish, depending on what I'm working with and what I'm setting up to sew. The versatility makes picking out sewing cabinets and paying a little bit more for them priceless. Before I go on, we've done some sewing studio tours, and one of my favorite ones was with my dear friend Brenda. I'll put a link right up here and in the description below where you can go watch which cabinets she picked when she was setting up her brand new studio as well, and you can see why everybody's sewing furniture needs are completely different and why you want to make your own list of wishes before you go shopping. This catalog is from Horn of America, where I picked out the majority of my sewing cabinets. Do keep in mind these cabinets come fully assembled and you will want to find them at your local sewing machine stores. So you can find your nearest Horn of America sewing furniture dealer. They'll have a dealer locator on their website where you can find the nearest store that will have sewing cabinets for you to check out. Since I work with Bernina Sewing Machines, Husqvarna Viking, Pfaff, and Singer machines, both sewing, sergers, and embroidery machines, I juggle a lot of machines for all the free videos and online courses that we create. If you're wondering which courses might be right for you, again, we've got links below in the description. Remember, if you're watching on a phone, click that More button right below the title of this video to open up the description and find the links. Whether you're mastering your embroidery machine, our top online course, Embroidery Essentials, is the one you'll want to jump into if you want to take your embroidery machine from zero to hero. We have Stitching Cosmos courses, which will help you master the sewing features, and so much more. If you're curious which courses would be right for you, drop me an email at info@sewingmastery.com. Include your sewing machine and model number, and I'll curate a list of courses that would be right for you and your sewing machine. All right, here is my reveal. First off, I picked Horn of America's 9100 sewing table for both its stability and its electric lift that will allow me to stand or sit at any height that I need for that day. I'm also going to be working on a brand new machine, the Bernina 990, which is a much larger than my last sewing machine, heavier, and with the embroidery unit attached, it needs a bigger work surface. So this will be my sewing, embroidery, and filming table for all my future YouTube videos. Next, I have just one big open room. So I was looking for a cutting table that has a little bit more drawer space where I can keep all the tools, accessories, and thread that I need to have at my fingertips. Adding in stabilizers, fabrics, and other supplies, the Horn Model 7600 is going to fit the bill. And again, I ordered it in white. I can't wait to go through and organize the supplies that I truly need at my fingertips within all the drawers and cubbies that are included with this cutting table. And last but not least, my serger now has a dedicated sewing area that once again, I can kind of move around based on how I'm setting up to sew. But no matter what, when I sit down at the serger, I have room to support my fabric, I have some storage, and it is exactly the height ergonomically for when I sit down to sew that my shoulders will be relaxed and it's the right height for serging. I'm curious, which features are the most important for the way you sew? Put in the comments below so others can learn, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Let's make the ultimate list of high priority items for all sewers to check out in the comments. When you finally get to pick out your ultimate sewing furniture, don't forget to upgrade your sewing chair to something a little bit more comfortable. If these tips have been helpful for you, make sure you're clicking like on all the videos that you watch from us. And we'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so as new videos like this one comes out, you'll see them first. Happy sewing!